body shaming?
94% of all teenage girls have experienced body shaming. 65% of all teenage boys have experienced body shaming.
What are your experiences with body shaming?
A lot of people think I'm too skinny and like they'll call me thick, like saying it sarcastically, but I think either or is okay.
What is the time you've been body shamed?
This was a couple weeks ago. I was sitting in class and this one kid, he was making fun of someone saying he was fat, the big kid, you know, who you're talking about. And I go, that's not nice to say, you know, call someone fat or anything. And he goes, well, you're big too, so you shouldn't be talking. And I say, are you serious? Like, you're just gonna make fun of me like that? He goes, I mean, I'm telling the truth. If you're big, you're fucking big. And I go, oh, okay, that's cool. And everybody starts laughing at me. And it wasn't a great experience at all because the next day he called me, he started making fun of me. He's saying, oh, the only reason you wear hoodies is because you want to hide those rolls and shit. And I'm like, oh.
Have you ever experienced body shaming? And if you have, how did you feel?
Yeah, I have. Somebody called me masculine because I have broad shoulders, but I don't really care because I like having broad shoulders for my sports.
Body shaming?
Actually, yes, and it was by a couple of guys. They called me fat and said that I eat too sweet.
It was also by guys, and they were like, I was with my friend, we were walking to Safeway, we were getting food, and then they were like, to her, they were like, I want the pretty one, and I want my friend was the thick one, and I was like, thick, fat, whatever, okay. So my friend didn't hear it, and I was like, I'm just not gonna say it because I kind of felt bad about it. I was like, kind of felt like.
So in Miss Hassett's class, I wrote my own narrative of my experience on body shaming. I put the quote, "The more power women gain, the more backlash they receive," reminds me of myself. Many people know I play football. It's truly difficult being the only girl on the football team. I gain power by being the only girl on the team and doing something most girls wouldn't do. Yes, I do tend to get picked on for it. I feel like I receive more backlash than any other football player at this school. Since I'm the only girl on the team, I feel as if I have more pressure on me to do better. Last year when I began to play for high school, I was a starter on defense, middle linebacker. If I missed a play or I did something wrong, I would get so hard on myself. My coaches would tell me to shake it off because everyone tends to make mistakes. On the other hand, some of the guys on my team would just treat me like shit and make fun of me. Most of the guys on my team would talk shit on me and call me names and say how I suck or how I'm weak. Before our actual season started, I was replaced by another guy on the team. I feel like because I wasn't a starter, that made me even more of a target for the guys on the team to pick on me. JV and varsity players would always compliment me and say that I'm doing good. I would have never thought my own team would try to bring me down. I always get called, and supposedly I'm a lesbian just because I play a male-dominant sport. I don't really see why my sexuality has to do anything with me playing my favorite sport. 100% of the criticism I get from playing football is from males on my own team. I feel like that just proves how much males don't like to see women achieving something. I can max out in the weight room or ATF and it will go unnoticed. A guy in the same group, we are in groups according to how much we can lift, could max out and get complimented by other guys in the room. In reality, it's as if the only males who want to see me strive for the best is my coaches.
Have you ever had any experiences with body shaming?
Yes, unfortunately. I remember when I was in 9th grade and puberty started hitting. I'd been pretty skinny, and then I started gaining weight, and my body started looking differently and changing. And I remember sitting on the couch with my dad, and he looked over at me, and he like poked my belly, and he was like, "Oh, that's new." And I was like, oh, I didn't even really think about the fact that that was something that I should be ashamed of. And then suddenly I was very acutely aware of it. And so I developed an eating disorder, actually, and I just stopped eating. For about 8 months, I would have a cup of cereal that I would measure and a cup of milk that I would measure. I would have an apple for lunch, and then I would have whatever the family was having for dinner. Probably about 900 calories a day or so. And then I stopped eating breakfast, and I started saying I was full at dinner, so I was really only eating like an apple a day. And I probably got down to 88 pounds on this height. Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember I had a friend who actually talked to me, and she was like, I'm really worried about you. You know, it probably lasted about 6 or 7 months, and I had a friend who said, you know, I'm getting really worried about you, like you're not really eating. And, you know, I started crying. I think I just needed somebody to notice that something was wrong. And what was funny, like during this time period, I really liked baking. I would bake stuff, but I would literally just open the tin and smell it and then put it away. And I would never let myself eat it. And so it was pretty empowering to finally be able to eat food and realize that I'm more than just numbers on a scale, and that there's more to me than just my body, that I am a human being. And so I focus a lot more now on just being healthy. I work out, I try to eat well, but I'm gonna eat that piece of cake. You guarantee it. And I'm much happier now knowing that I'm not just how I look.
How do you feel about this hate comment?
If you don't have anything good to say, you shouldn't say it at all, especially when you're commenting online, because you never know what that person's going through in that moment, and that could just be even more hurtful to them.
How do you feel about this hate comment?
It's honestly like such a mean thing to say though, because like she didn't purposely want to be like that. Like things just happen, and I think for you to like be that hateful towards her and just completely throw her down is like you're such like a terrible person. Like I don't get how people can do that. She's still beautiful. She's still the same person she was. It's just her appearance is different. It doesn't change her.
Unfortunately, eating disorders can be caused by a history of being teased or ridiculed based on size or weight, as well as body shaming crushes the self-esteem and confidence of another human being.
JENAH Day took place on May 10th. We brought awareness to what body shaming is and how it affects people. We also tried helping others be more body positive by doing fun activities during lunch, such as our popular Embrace Your Face glitter stand.